Hey Donna,
Hey Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Welcome, Laker fans. This is the Purple Blood Lakers podcast for you Laker fans by us Laker fans. We're going to get into game six versus the Toronto Raptors. A win for the Lakers, but a nail biter.
Yeah. Didn't need to be a nail biter, but it turned out to be a nail biter at the end. But I love these kind of games. I love them. These are like probably my second favorite to just a blowout, but dominating in the first half, coming out lackadaisical in that third quarter, and then having to fight and regroup, reorganize, all the things that you have to do to kind of get your composure back and win it down the stretch. So I love that.
So I didn't love it. I don't want to be biting my nails when they're down three starters. Several key players for sure. But it's hard to have a consistent game
Yep.
against players that rarely get to those many minutes. So I feel like, especially the Lakers, every time we play these, last minute put together teams because of injuries, we're at risk of them going on crazy runs where we don't know where the heck this stuff is coming from.
Yep.
Um,
But I keep telling you, it's early in the season, and the Lakers are trying to learn a new system. And
yep,
so a lot of times you revert back, even though that first half just looked great. They were running, they were gunning, they were passing the ball, they were sharing all
yep.
the good things that you did. And then third quarter came and they just reverted back to the old style. So I think that's going to happen throughout the season. There's going to be quarter, and hopefully it's only one quarter that they mess up and then they can regroup. But it's going to happen through this season because they're learning a whole new system. But that's where coaching comes in. Get them back together, and get them going. So this was a good example of that. And so I kind of like that's what I'm kind of looking for this season, even though I want wins, of course. But I watch games like that and see how the coaching, um, when they call timeouts, who they bring in, how do they get the team back under control, running the system and doing all the things that they need to do in a heat of a game on the road. This young team, they had some two guys that were on heaters. There was nothing we could do with RJ Barrett and that kid Grady Dick. I mean, he was hitting every shot that was there. And when teams spread us out on defense, we don't do well because we're a little bit slow
hmm
and we just can't get out to their shooters.
hmm
And so they were just going crazy on us. And I thought, okay, we're going to lose to the Toronto Raptors, really?
hmm
But they regrouped and folks hit some big shots. D'Lo hit some big shots and Rui hit two big threes from the corner. And he only had 9 points the whole game, but he hit those two big threes that just calmed everything down and got us back up by double digits and gave us a little breather. So
Good moments for him, but a horrible game.
yeah, not a good game for him. He's had two not so good games,
hmm
but happens.
and it was nice to see D'Lo come alive.
Yep.
That was D'Lo we were hoping to see this year. So
Yep. That was
uh,
great.
I still think though, um,
Got to trade him.
when you're the third and at this point still fourth option on a team like this, you have to come into training camp ready. And the start that he got to the season is indicative of what I think have been work ethic problems with him. Since he came to the Lakers. He's an extremely talented guy, and I think that doesn't serve him well because I think he could. Kobe was an extremely talented guy that worked his butt off, and you give D'Lo some of that work ethic, and you got something special. But I don't think he has a personality for it, and therefore I think he's got to be packaged up and moved on to somebody that doesn't need wins, just needs flash.
But I don't think it's work ethic because I watched D'Lo this year. I think he's trying to do all the things that JJ is asking him to do. I just think his shot is off. And when his shot is off, people criticize him because, he doesn't play the best defense, but I do see him out there trying.
I
He
do
just
too.
has two left feet. He's just
Yep.
slow. He doesn't. He's just that's just he's just not that good when it comes on the defensive end. And I think people are criticizing him this year because he's not scoring. But when I
Yep.
watch him out on that thing, when he's in the game, to me, the offense runs much smoother. He
Hmm.
gets the ball to AD more than anybody on this team. He's always looking for AD. He
Hmm.
sometimes will have a layup and bounce it to AD under the basket. So
Hmm.
I think he's our best assist guy. I mean, I think LeBron, but I
Bron's our
think
best assist guy by a mile.
D'Lo, if you watch him in the game, it may not always come up in the numbers, but he usually has 5, 6, 7 assists a game. But I
Yep.
watch him when we're running and the flowing, he moves the ball. The ball doesn't stick with him most times. And I just like the flow of the team when he's in the game because he's always looking to pass.
Yeah.
Even
I
though
agree.
he likes to shoot, he gets on a heater. He had an 8-0 run in that fourth quarter that really helped us. But I just like him. I just think people just criticize him because he's the guy that you can criticize. There's always one guy on the team that everybody jumps on, media jumps on, everybody jumps on him. And I just think we need to look at his positives and take it from there because if he was hitting 20 points a game, 7, 8 assists a game, we wouldn't be saying anything about him.
We wouldn't be talking about trading him either.
Right. But we
But
don't, I think we have to trade him because of this, because of his contract. He has an
yep.
expiring contract. I don't think it's so much that we have to trade him because he's really, really bad. I just think we have to trade him because if he walks at the end of the year, we didn't get anything for him. So
Hmm.
I think we have to trade him. But I
Hmm.
think if he had a different contract, I think, he only makes 18, 19 million. You think of point guards in the league, they're making 30, 40, 50 million a year. I mean, Dame is making 60 million a year. So your point guards that are really good are making huge dollars. So him making 18 a year is really not that bad, but it's expiring and you can't let him just walk. We got
What
to
I
get something for him.
what I wanted from him was to come in shooting lights out, and that to me is a work ethic thing. Uh,
Nah, I don't
Kobe,
believe
Kobe,
that.
Kobe talks about 1,000 shots a day, and I just don't think you're gonna 1,000 makes a day, and I don't think you get that from D'Lo. And I think if you,
Everybody's not Kobe.
if,
I love
if
Kobe. He's my
I
favorite
know,
player,
and that's
But
what I
that
compare
doesn't,
everybody
but
to.
that
That's the standard.
just because he's cold and missing right now doesn't mean he didn't put in the work in the summer. That
Okay.
I don't, you know,
Last year it came out at 40%. If it comes out at 40% again at the All-Star break when he gets traded, then I will eat my words. But
okay. I'm
he's
with D'Lo. I've always liked D'Lo. I know his shortcomings, but I just feel like all guys have shortcomings, and I just feel like he's always been that target guy. Um,
well, ever
but
since he broke man code,
yeah.
he's gonna get trouble from especially male NBA fans, and I'm one of them.
Oh, we women don't worry about stupid stuff like that. You guys worry about dumb stuff like that. That's Nick Young is silly, whatever they have between them, whatever the bro code was, whatever. But Nick Young was just as silly as D'Lo and was a horrible Laker. So I don't do anything that Swaggy P talks about. Now, if it had been an important player, like somebody that's a real NBA player that happened, then maybe I would take a look. But Swaggy P, nah,
it's
I
not
don't
so
worry
much
about stuff.
it's not so much what he did, it's what it says about him and his weirdness and that weird vibe. I still get it from him.
Oh,
He
I don't
just
get that.
he's just a strange dude, and his strangeness doesn't help us win games. And
I
so
don't think he's a strange guy. I listen to him on his podcast. I listen to things that he says on interviews. Um, I think he's grown up. I think he was, a young kid back then. Kids do
yeah,
stupid stuff, especially today with this whole social media stuff. But
I totally agree with that.
I've watched him mature, um, and I've watched him take accountability. He talked about that at the beginning of the season, taking accountability for not doing what he needed to do. He apologized to Laker fans. I mean, most people don't do that. And so I thought that was big when he came into this year, talking about how he didn't feel like he put in the work ethic like you're talking about in the past and all these things that he talked about. And I think that just takes a lot for
I
an
agree.
athlete to say that
I
in
wish he
front of
didn't.
people.
I wish he wouldn't have had to because by saying it, at least for the year prior to that, he was proving me right. But okay, let's say he put in the work this summer, and let's say he's just a little bit cold, and let's say he's doing a good job. Because the fact is, when I watch him play defense now, I do see a difference. I do see him
Mhm.
trying. I don't see
Yep.
him as effective as maybe we would like, but I do see him trying, and sometimes he makes really great plays. He's blocked some shots. He's done some cool things. So I'm gonna get off D'Lo and let's get
Yeah,
off. I want to go back
that's
to
okay.
the beginning of the game.
Hmm.
We started with the Canadian national anthem, and I think we survived that. And, and then if I were a world leader, I would ban all national anthems. They all suck, and they all need to be canned. They all need
Okay.
to be put in the trash. Anyway, we started off playing within the offense.
Hmm.
We got lots of layups and shots off JJ's action. I'm still
Hmm.
mad about how the media is still bringing up Ham over stuff that I think is not good basketball analysis. But I'm not going to take that out on JJ. The man with his coaching staff is
Hmm.
showing that they are coaching this team well, and this team is responding to that
Yep.
coaching. And when this team goes away from that coaching, we get ourselves in trouble, and we have to go back to that coaching to get back.
I
That
know.
is an indication that these guys are on to something in terms of how to coach this team. I think it's
Yeah.
really difficult to coach this team, and I'm going to mention clutch just to upset you again. With the player power and control that they have, makes it really, really difficult to coach this team. Ham is gone because AD decided to say some stuff about what
Love it.
not knowing where we were in the playoffs. If you don't know where you're supposed to be playing this team,
No.
third team in a year in a row in the playoffs, and you're the number one player on the team, you should ask the coaching staff in practice. You don't come out to the media after the game and say, "I know
Loved
we
it.
lost, but it's not my fault. The coaches don't know what the hell they're doing."
Loved it.
Like that,
I
and
loved it.
that's the kind of player control that I'm sick of.
No,
So
players do that all the time, Greg. Which player control are you talking about? I think it was important for him to come out and say something because I was tired because we were saying that as fans. The Lakers look like they don't know what they're doing. In those Denver games, they would come out and like nobody looked like nobody knew what play they were running. And we were saying it as fans. So the fact that he came out and said, I'm okay with it because AD never says anything. He's not that guy that's always talking about coaching.
that is
He
true.
never says anything. For him to come out and say that, he must have been very, very frustrated. And
Yep.
he's supposed to be one of the leaders of the team. So I'm okay with leaders of the team coming out saying stuff. I was so happy he said it because that's what we were thinking. And sometimes players don't say anything, and we fans are sitting back like, what the heck is going on? So I'm happy that he came because y'all look like y'all was lost. Y'all look like y'all didn't know what y'all was doing, even though you're a pro team and you should know what you're doing, but you looked a mess out there and it was embarrassing. So I was
I,
happy he said something.
I think Frank Vogel got us a chip, and then he was gone the next year, and it was because the players stopped listening. And
He was here 2 years.
yeah, yeah. Well, the point is he ain't here now. I'm not saying that I miss him. I'm saying that's another example of player power. And um,
Happens all the time.
the fact is, it's the players that are on the court executing. And so on this Laker team, all the money that we've spent, all the expertise that these players have, the experience that they have, I expect them to be able to figure it out. I
Yep.
don't, I don't think the coach should be a deciding factor on this team after these many years that they've been playing together. They know what to do. They know when they need to guard people, and they
Didn't
sometimes
look
get
like it.
lazy. They sometimes get out of sort and out of sorts. And I think that is going to happen this year, and I want to
Of
see how the
course.
media handles it. All right,
Of
let's
course.
get to the beginning of the game. We started off playing really, really well. I put check marks every time we got something in the flow, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 check marks in the first quarter. We ended that quarter 43-19. We won the game
Game.
in the first quarter. Game is over at the end of the first quarter. We had 11 assists and 13 rebounds. They had 5 assists, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. We had 2 turnovers. They had 3. Now, every other quarter for the rest of the game, the Toronto starterless Raptors outplayed us. In the
Nah,
second
not that
quarter,
second quarter. Second
in the
quarter was
second
33
quarter,
32.
in the second quarter, 33-32, Lakers advantage 1 point. Out rebounded us 14-12. Out assisted us 9-5. 3 turnovers to our 4 turnovers.
But we kept the lead. We had was up by 25. But that
Yeah,
was I
because
hear
we had
you.
won it in the
It was
first quarter.
it was starting to trend. It was starting to trend
And it
negatively our way.
it got worse throughout the game.
Yeah.
No, not worse. It got really bad in the third quarter when RJ stepped up to the plate and
Yeah.
started going lights out, just nuts.
Horrible.
37-23,
Who
14.
was guarding him? Who was he playing the three or the two?
That's a really good question.
I
Um,
can't remember. I think no, I think that kid Dickey was playing the two because he was killing us too. But I think RJ was at the three. He was killing. I don't know if Rui was guarding him. I can't remember who was guarding him, but man, he was eating him alive.
if you can't remember, it was probably Braun. Um,
Well, Blom plays a four,
no,
so
he
he probably
don't.
wasn't guarding
He
RJ. It's
don't.
probably Rui.
Ron plays the one, two, three, and sometimes four.
But I mean, positionless on defense, he usually plays the four. But it was
Yeah.
probably Rui. I think Rui's at, Rui plays the three on defense, but
No, not against Denver.
who did Rui play against Denver?
He
Denver.
was when we were.
Well, no, no. What you call it? Braun played the four against Aaron Gordon. He kept
You're
getting
absolutely right,
backdoored.
because we kept talking about the back door in our
Yeah,
first segment. Yeah.
yeah. But
All right.
whoever was guarding RJ was getting eaten up in that third
Yeah.
quarter.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
shared responsibility. So
yeah. You're
especially in
right.
our defense, because we take all switches, which is
I
one of
don't.
the things we're gonna have to deal with.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't like it. I don't like it. We think we have the personnel to do that, but we don't.
I know. I just
We
don't
end up
like
with a
that
whole bunch
switching
of
everything.
we end up with a bunch of small people on big dominant people, and it doesn't work out well for us.
Yeah, I don't think. I think we need to maybe, as the year goes on, I think we might need to change that. Just switch. We switch all the time on every, and that kills us sometimes because D'Lo usually ends up on like a KD or something.
And then we mad because he's not playing good D. Dude,
Right.
nobody's guarding KD.
That's right.
Third quarter, 37-23, Toronto, 14
Yep.
rebounds to our 9, 10 assists to our 6. Fourth quarter, 37-32, 11 rebounds to our 9, 10 assists to our 6.
Yep.
Um, that's not a good trend for
No.
against a bunch of scrubs. So
Right.
I didn't like it. Um, so then I got a whole bunch of ISOs. Braun started with a ISO layup. Then he missed a heat check three. Um, and then I think it was AD who did a ISO layup and an ISO hook shot and another ISO layup. And then we got back into it because
Yeah.
the score was trending. Um, I think it was D'Lo who missed a mid-range ISO. Sometimes he wants to take the ball and try to get his game going. But then AD got to the line for free throws. AD got a layup. AD got a oop, and AD got a another layup, and all of them were assists from Bron within the Florida offense, where a lot of people touched the ball before it finished, and that continued into the second half. Another layup, dunk, got to the line before he did another ISO, and so
AD was great.
Rui missed a
AD was
three, and then he got his shot blocked. And when Rui is going to get his shot blocked until he learns not to get his shot blocked, and when he gets his shot blocked, he goes back inside of his shell, and
yeah.
because he knows how bad he looks when that happens.
I
Uh,
know. He just had a couple off nights offensively. Um wasn't cutting back door. He just was he just wasn't the Rui we've seen in the first four games offensively. But like I said, he hit those two key threes that kind of gave us breathing room. And D'Lo came up big with those 8 points, and then AD was just unstoppable. I saw a play where they got, I think, within five maybe, and AD just took the ball and said, just basically, he looked like he would say, "Give me the ball. I'm about to go get us out of this, and I'm about to go score." And he went and scored, and I loved it. I can't remember. I think it was out of Rui, somebody's hands. He kind of came up to the top of the key and got the ball, and then went to work, and was basically saying, "Okay, I'm going to put you guys on my back and I'm going to go to town here. Give me the ball." And I really liked it. I saw it and it just said something to me. And I was just like, yes, go get the ball and get us out of this mess and start, straighten this thing out. And I just saw it and I felt like that's what he was saying to himself. And he went and did it. And he had a great game, 38-12. That was,
I say live by the ISO, die by the ISO.
sometimes you have to ISO. Sometimes you got to break down. Sometimes when you're a star, I've seen it on all teams that you just have to, when the team is floundering, nobody's hitting shots. Sometimes you just have to say, give me the ball. I'm gonna go get us a bucket. And I've seen it with Cole, I've seen it just years and years. And sometimes you're screaming. Me as a fan, I'm saying, can somebody do something? Nobody's hitting shots. Somebody got to just break out and say, give me the ball and go get us some points, at least to get us some breathing room, because sometimes you passing around the perimeter, ain't nobody hitting. Then what? Somebody has to be able to break out and say, give me that ball. I'm going to go get us a bucket.
The
And we
trophy.
need that player. And Bron is sometimes, but we need somebody else to be that player. And I saw that in AD last night. And I was happy about it. And then you said they got back into the system, started feeding AD. He was getting layups and dunks and got us back going. But when you're floundering like that, somebody has to take charge out there and say, okay, you know,
The
I
offense is
think,
designed to get easy buckets. And I think that is always the higher percentage approach. So we
but
differ on
don't always work. It don't always work if ain't nobody hitting.
neither always works. There are times
Huh?
when Bron pulls up and takes a three, especially 2 years ago. He was pulling up taking threes to finish games and he was missing them.
But I'm not saying that's
He was
always the
barking at
approach.
people and it was horrible.
But I said I'm not saying all that's approach. You love to get on LeBron. We ain't even talking about LeBron today. But
We went
AD took the ball and took it to the hole. He didn't shoot a three-pointer. He didn't do any of that. He was taking that ball to the hole with some intentionality, and
if
I
I have
loved
to
it.
have AD take over, if he's going to the hole, I'm good. If he decides to take
Yeah.
over and starts fading away, then I'm gonna go nuts.
He didn't even shoot. He didn't even shoot any threes. I said Greg is gonna be happy. He was zero
Yeah.
from zero from the three-point line.
I want him to take him and I want him to hit him. I just want everything in the flow. There are
Yeah.
times when he gets that ball on the perimeter and they got 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and I want him shooting that ball confidently. I don't care if it goes in. I want him to take that good shot. And he's already, at the perimeter, so we're not going to get fast breaks because he's already back. So I'm not upset with him taking threes. I think that's part of the plan this year.
Yeah, it
But
is.
during the game, in the Florida offense, I want him attacking the rim
Yeah.
aggressively.
He
When
was
he
killing
does
them.
that, we're a better team as long as he doesn't fall down.
Yeah. Well, he
Uh,
fell. Oh my God, he fell fell down a couple of times. I thought about you. I was
he,
like, oh my God, AD fell down like in the middle. They were on a fast break. And he was trying to get the ball up and something happened and he fell, but the ball got up there and we got the basket. And I thought about you. I was like, oh, there goes AD falling again.
I wrote down RJ was everywhere. RJ was not just
Everywhere.
getting shots; he was giving assists. He was getting rebounds. He just looked like the only player on the court. Sometimes I've never
Yeah.
seen him play like that. I thought he was a good player in New York, but I thought they were probably right to trade him. Um, but it's turned out to be a really nice place for him to be in Toronto. He's really blossomed into a wonderful player.
Because they
Uh,
let him play more freely. You know how
yeah,
Thibodeau is.
yeah,
Thibodeau don't let nobody really play freely. You got to play within his structure. And I just felt, and plus he wasn't a good shooter back then when he first came in the league. I
yeah.
think he's
He's
shooting a lot better now.
better shot now. Yeah.
Yeah, and he likes to play in the open court, and they seem to be playing more open court. New York is not like an open court playing team, and so I thought the trade was good for him as well for his career because
That's what I'm
when you have
saying.
Thibodeau,
Yep, 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 yep.
yeah, so
Sometimes a trade is the right thing for both
yeah,
organizations. Our media tends to try to say one person won and one person lost, but
right,
sometimes the trade is good for the NBA overall. It's
yeah.
just everybody's better.
And
Uh,
he's from Canada too, so he was going back home, so that
yeah.
was good for him as well. Yeah.
Um, there was a nice out of bounds play where Gabe ended up with a layup that I just kind of made a note of. That was a nice play. JJ's got some good play calling capabilities. And he probably got a deep enough bag where we can come up with stuff all the way, through to the
Hmm.
playoffs. So I'm looking forward to seeing what his journey is like this year. Um,
Yep. I'm
and
excited about it.
I think at the end of the third quarter, it was 99-88. Maybe it was early in the fourth or at the end of the third. Rui fell down and he laid there
Mm.
for a bit and no one came to help him up.
Oh,
The referee reached down to help Rui
oh
up.
my gosh.
And I think the whole team was just disgusted with him jumping in there and getting his shot blocked. um, but I
He
didn't
has to
like
do
that.
he's got to do some head fakes sometime when he's going to the hole, but he's just so determined to dunk it on you
I
that he
guess
just gets stuff blocked.
I think people have been telling, man, you got that big body, you need to use it. And I think he wants to be intimidating at the rim, but he ain't
Right.
intimidating nobody. Every team
No.
waiting for him at the rim saying, oh, you that dude that just jumps up recklessly. I'm
Yeah.
going to be a nice shot block on this.
Poor
I'm
thing.
going back to Cleveland. There was one that Jarrett
Oh yeah,
just and he just he goes up and he's got the ball and the ball comes down with him and or flips out and he just crumbles. It's terrible to look at. Like
it is.
I
He's
don't
got
think
to do some head fakes when he goes in there or something. Because see, now everybody knows that that's how he goes to the hole. So
yeah,
they're waiting for him. And I
they're waiting
just,
for him.
it's just ugly when it happens. I'm like, it would be beautiful when he hits them, when they dunk, when he's dunking on somebody, it's beautiful. But man, when he gets blocked, it's ugly.
I think I might be about to say something that I might regret from a cultural bias perspective, but it
Okay.
feels like if he had grown up on the same playgrounds that I did, he would have gotten past this already. Getting your shot block is something you have to figure out how to avoid.
Yeah,
You got
true.
to use that arm and push somebody off, or you got to really get that
Something.
hook going. You got things that you learn how to do from playing pickup ball in the hood that that kind of stuff doesn't happen. But
Right.
um,
Maybe he'll get better.
I hope so.
I like him going though. I that's what I keep saying. I like him being aggressive, but he needs to change it up when he's going to the hole because he holds the ball. Everybody know he coming. Oh, it's just a
Two
dream
hands,
for a shot blocker.
two hands.
Two hands. So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can't put nobody off with the other arm because
Right,
he got
right,
both hands on the
right,
ball.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
so he's gotta clean that up because it's gonna keep coming. And he's so athletic, but man, it's ugly when he does get blocked. Like you said, he's with two hands, so his whole body goes down.
Yeah, yeah. So here's where things got ugly when RJ was going nuts, talking about what Brown was doing. Brown hit a fadeaway ISO. He hit a three in the flow, and then he did an ISO that led to free throws. He was guarded on that play by three players, and he couldn't find nobody open. Then he did an ISO and missed a fadeaway that led to RJ getting a three-point play on the other end on Braun. So Braun was
Mm,
guarding him at least on that play. And I noted that sequence when things were getting ugly. And I think we at that point when that at the end of that sequence we had a 6 point lead and AD came back in the game. So
hmm
to Bron's credit, he was playing with scrubs, which again, I don't know why we spend so much time with two starters and three scrubs. And I'm calling them scrubs until they learn how to score.
Me too.
You know who I'm talking
I
about?
agree.
I'm talking about Jackson. I'm talking about Max. I'm talking about our veteran
Vincent,
Vincent and
connect.
Connect. Out of those guys, the guy that deserves the most minutes based on what he's done so far is Connect.
I know.
He takes his shot without hesitation. He still hasn't gotten to his true shooting percentage, but I think it's
Right.
going to come.
Right.
He also makes some nice dimes. He dropped a beautiful pass on the move to Brian. Uh,
hmm
that's not an easy thing to do. Brian
Mm-mm.
moves different,
Right.
so
And Brian looks for him.
it looks like there's some
He
chemistry
looks for him.
already. And so,
Yeah.
we said we got to play Christie. We have no choice.
He
But
has 7 points and he played. I felt like he's starting to look a little more comfortable
it was a little
out
better.
there. Yeah, a little better.
It's gonna take him the whole year to get to be himself. But
Got to play him.
after the All-Star break, we should see some level of consistency from him, both in terms of scoring and in terms of being impactful on defense.
Right.
But we don't have to play Gabe. Gabe's getting an opportunity right now that
I
the
know.
first person to get injury free is going to take Gabe's minutes, and
I
he
know.
deserves it at this point.
Who is that though? We don't have
The
any more
problem,
point guards.
the problem is we're short on point guards, and that's why I was
Mhm.
down on this team when we first started.
Well,
And
they thought Jalen Hood Shafino was going to come around this year.
well, you see what
They didn't
happened,
send him to the G League.
and took away his last year, and that means he's nothing but an expiring contract.
Expiring contract. Yeah. But I
So
heard Utah is interested. Now I don't know if that was a rumor that came out that Utah's interested in it.
Danny Ainge loves expiring contracts, especially if he can squeeze two picks out of us.
Yeah. That's not worth it. I
I
was
don't
looking
feel
at
comfortable doing business with Danny Ainge. That boy is smarter than our people, and so he gave us a man with bad feet, and we were happy to get him.
yeah, and I'm still happy.
I'm not happy at all.
I'm waiting to see. I want to see. I want to see what he does and if the surgery that he had on both feet this summer, what happens. So I'm giving Vando one more year this year. I
Well,
want to see if he stays healthy, what happens, because I love Vando and I think he just makes a difference, especially on the defensive end. So we'll see. But Hood Shafino, I don't know if he had a back problem coming out of Indiana because he had back surgery last year. When you first year you got back surgery, that's not a good sign. and he plays very stiff. He plays very stiff, and and I don't know if it's because of he's coming off this back injury, but that's unusual for a team to decline a third year. Usually they'll decline the fourth year, but the third year is very unusual. So I guess the Lakers don't see anything in him that he's gonna be anything because he was supposed to be our third point guard.
If he wants to, if Danny Ainge wants him, he can have him.
Yeah.
If we can somehow get their point guard,
I want Colin Saxon.
I know I'm not taking Clarkson. I don't want him.
I don't want Clark. We don't need another guy like that. We need a point guard.
Yeah.
So
Um,
we'll see.
we entered the game back into the Florida offense. Corner three for Rui from Brown, another corner three for Rui from D'Lo.
Yeah.
And that got us back in the game.
And that excited me that when Bron sent it to him and he hit it, D'Lo came down and definitely looked for him in that corner again
Yes,
and gave him
yes,
another shot. I thought I like that because he could have passed it anywhere else, but he
yep,
got it to Rui. And, because Rui, like you said, he wasn't doing well. I think Rui was 1 for 10 or something. And for them to have that confidence in him and for him to hit both, I thought was big.
yep, yep. I don't want nobody on the court that can't shoot.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want nobody on the court who doesn't think it's their job to shoot, and that's what
Right.
bothers me about the way we're telling our bench. The coach JJ actually said we don't expect any scoring out of
Our bench.
Max or Vince. He's basically saying that those are both our defensive specialists or whatever. Uh, wrong message. Wrong message. Because
Yeah.
Max has a smooth J,
Yeah.
smooth, and I was excited about Vince because of the threes that he hit in the playoffs when he was playing for Miami, and we
Yeah.
just haven't seen that. We've never seen that dude.
Nope.
We've never seen that dude, Vincent.
No.
Um,
And he makes sometimes when he's out there trying to create, he makes bad passes. For a veteran, I sometimes see him getting in the air and then,
yeah,
and
he
I was
played this
just like,
game where he was up in the air. Maybe it was the last game, I forget, but he was going out of bounds and he kind of driving the baseline and ended up
yes,
to the basket. He turns around and he's looking like, what you expect to see, bro? You see a backboard,
right,
right here,
right.
and then you see a
Yes,
whole bunch of the other team. So what you
yes.
expect to do? And he threw it away.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed with his floor leadership with that second unit because he's the veteran of that second unit and he's supposed to be kind of running that unit, and I don't see it in him when he's out there. So,
He's not playing like it. He
mm-mm,
hasn't been groomed into a point guard, and I don't think we can expect that of him at this point.
that's
But
true.
I do want him shooting that rock. I love his shot.
He's got to shoot. Yeah, he's got a nice shot. And I don't know. I don't know if he's learning the offense but man, you're on the second unit. You need to be shooting that ball.
Yeah, you being guarded by somebody else.
Right. Exactly. So no, we need 20 points more, 20 points or more a game from this bench. I don't care what the combination is. We
Right.
need at least 20 to 25 points from our bench because
Right.
we're going to wear out our starting five.
And what JJ is doing is he's playing them with veterans, and those veterans are saying, okay, all green light me, especially Brian. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm taking every shot because y'all can't do nothing. And I
I
think that,
know.
past Laker benches that have been great, we've had 4 or 5 bench players on the court that have gotten a rhythm together and have
Yeah.
scored. And there's no way they can do that. They're trying to figure out how to feed Bron or how to feed AD or how to,
Yeah, I just think the coaching staff doesn't necessarily have confidence in them that they can be out there by themselves yet.
they've expressed that. And so
They've
that needs
showed us. Except for Connect. You put him out there, whatever, he gonna shoot.
and that might be what the message needs to be to the bench players and the veterans when they're in there with Connect and a bunch of scrubs is let's feature this dude. Brian, let's turn you back into that assist guy when you're out here
Mm-hmm.
with Connect and Brian can also get points for
Hayes.
Hayes
Yeah,
can get that. Oop, he started
yeah.
off the year. His preseason was nice. That guy can be an offensive threat. He's
Mm-hmm.
extremely athletic. When you're playing against a second string center, there's no reason why he shouldn't be dunking on people. But we
Right.
don't even think about it in the games
Yeah.
anymore. I don't know
So
why
yeah, we've got to figure
we
out
had
that
it
bench
going
thing.
with him for a minute. We had it
We
going.
did. We did. He was playing great. I think he plays well when he's playing with AD as well, because he's getting
Yeah,
the backside dunks.
they actually feed each other a little bit. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
there's
they
a
play
power action going on.
well together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
we got to figure out the bench, though. We just got to figure out these three guys. If these are going to be our three guys right now, in addition to Hayes,
mhm.
we got to figure out something. Either they all play together at the same time with a certain person, or some. I don't know, but they seem to still be kind of out of sorts.
And what we're thinking about is Vandy coming back, which is another offensively limited player that's focused on defense. What are we going to do? Your plus minus is going to be negative if no one is shooting on the second unit.
Maybe
All
you put maybe you put Rui in with them.
that'd be a nice way to get him loose on that. I think we don't do that very much.
Right.
I guess we want Rui to think of himself as a starter. And that's a good thing for his mentality. As soon as he gets over this block shot thing, but it might open up his game a little bit to play with the scrubs. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All
Then
right,
he's the man. So
we got 4 minutes left.
okay.
We coming into Detroit. It's not a must win. It's a must blowout. We
Hmm.
we need our fans to experience the comfort and stress free feeling of beating the heck out of somebody. Detroit is
Well,
the that's their job in the league is to make everybody else feel better. Or
um,
did I miss some important additions? Because I think they still suck.
I think they have a lot of young athletic kids though. They got a new coach. But we need to go into that game just like we went into the Toronto game. Very intentional, running the offense and trying to run them off the floor in the first half again. Um,
And then trying to maintain that
yes.
discipline and
Yeah.
intensity for at least 3 quarters, and
Yeah.
then rest the starters and let Bronny get some run.
Yeah. So we have to come out with intention. We can't get in a back and forth game with them. No, give them no confidence, none of that. Start out like we started with Toronto, even though Toronto came back in the third quarter, but at least we had that big cushion. So we need a like you said, we need a blowout game, and this should be the team we should blow out. But we're on the road. We get a little lackadaisical sometimes, and we'll see though. This is that game we should blow out, like you said, all the way through.
But
But we'll see.
it could be a repeat game in that we don't know nothing about these players.
I know.
So those are dangerous games that people don't realize how good the NBA is, man.
Yep.
The 10th guy on the bench will wear out all of us.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know,
Probably the
all of us
15th
played
man on the
together.
bench.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably number 15 would wear us out.
Yeah.
That
So
never gets to see any run, but I'm
even
looking
though,
forward to it. These tests that we keep going, that we keep looking at and saying, then that's where you see improvement in this team. If this is a close down the stretch game with this team, that means we done reverted back to some stuff because that
yeah.
shouldn't be.
And
So
what
we'll
I've
see.
noticed is that's what that's going to mean is we're doing a whole bunch of ISO stuff, And
Okay.
as I said in the beginning of the year, I want to outscore teams. I think that you cannot get these NBA players to play the kind of defense that you and I would be playing if we had a chance in the NBA.
Right.
Once they get that first million, it like defense, their agent is telling you, bro, you need your points up. That's what people are who are going to trade for you are looking at. How many points?
That's what people pay for.
That's what they pay for. So these
Yeah.
guys are trying to get paid. So I don't want the emphasis on defense to be how we win. I want us to outscore people. And
Yeah. We just got to get critical stops at critical times.
okay, that was fun.
That was fun.
We
Four
almost
and
had a
two.
fight, but we too nice still. But it's coming.
It's coming. We good. We winning. So we're
Yeah.
4 and 2. So I like the way we're starting. We should be 5 and 2 after next game. And then
Yep.
we go to Memphis, which will be a huge test. But we're good.
So this was the Purple Blood Lakers podcast for Laker fans, by Laker fans, featuring Donna Wright, who's always right, and me, Greg, who got cut from the B Squad. See y'all next game.
Bye. Go Lakers.